Celebrations in Rome as anti-nuclear protesters marked a big win. Italy voted on 4 issues, the most controversial: an end to the country's nuclear programme. And for that, an overwhelming yes.
This proves that finally there's change in the air and that Italians are still able to take matters in their own hands.
I think this result proves that Berlusconi's ability to govern and communicate has finally diminished.
Silvio Berlusconi heard the results and then went shopping, but admits the nuclear power argument is lost.
We must probably say goodbye to the possibility of nuclear power, and we must strongly commit ourselves to renewable energy.
There was a yes vote too to scrap the controversial law which gives politicians some protection from court action if they can claim they're on government business. Critics say, facing 4 current trials, this is simply a law to keep Berlusconi out of court. A move to privatise Italy's water industry was also defeated. Silvio Berlusconi urged people not to vote, hoping that all 4 measures would fail to get the voter numbers needed to legally count. He failed. The 57% turnout, the highest for a referendum in Italy in almost 20 years. He suffered big losses in local elections 2 weeks ago, but one observer says reports of Berlusconi's political end are premature.
Berlusconi is surely in a political crisis. It doesn't mean still a crisis of his government, because the logic of the parliament are different from the logic of the public opinion.
Berlusconi was always regarded as a vote winner, but he was better known as a political survivor, a reputation that will be put to the test over the coming months.
Well, Alan Fisher joins us live now from Rome. Alan, apart from the issues itself, it's quite something that the turnout was so large enough to make this binding. It isn't always the case with referenda in Italy.
Well, it's the biggest turnout in a referendum in Italy in almost 20 years. Silvio Berlusconi, his government said, please don't come out and vote. A number of other parties encouraged people to stay away. The idea was that they wouldn't get the 50% plus 1, which of course meant that any result would not be legally binding. It was a gamble on their part, but it was really also a chance to get the best of both worlds. If they didn't get people turning out to vote, then it wouldn't get past that 50%. And if people did turn out and were on their side and voted no, then the chances are it would be defeated. But as you can see in the square behind me, people are celebrating not only this very high turnout, 57.2 is the official figure in all 4 referenda, but also they're celebrating the fact that these are anti-nuclear supporters, that they won and they delivered a resounding defeat to Silvio Berlusconi, who just 2 years ago was saying that nuclear power was the future for Italy. Clearly what happened in Japan has encouraged people to say that they didn't want nuclear power here, and that is why we've had such a massive vote against it. We're told 95% in fact.
Alan, nuclear power, one of the issues, the privatisation of water, another one, and then legitimate impediment. Now explain to us what this is about, because it's about politics and court cases, something that Berlusconi knows quite a bit about.
Essentially, this was a law that was put in place by Silvio Berlusconi's party, which said if a government minister was facing court action, then he could say, look, if I'm on government business, I can't make my way to court. That would delay the proceedings. The statute of limitations in Italy is quite short, so therefore there's every possibility that during the course of a parliament, the charges against someone could have to be dropped because they ran out of time. Now, critics say this was really just Berlusconi's law protecting him, because at the moment he's facing 4 court actions, 1 for having sex with a minor, 3 for misuse of power in office, essentially. And the Constitutional Court has already said you can't do that. And so now the people have essentially said, look, the law applies equally to everyone, Mr. Berlusconi. You cannot be made a special example here, so therefore you can't claim this. And again, overwhelmingly in the referendum, the people said no to Berlusconi. The upshot of all this is after 4 defeats in the referenda, a couple of weeks ago he lost local elections, Silvio Berlusconi is wounded. Is he going to resign in the next week or so? No, he's not, but certainly his government partners know that he's wounded, his opponents know that he's wounded. Silvio Berlusconi has been a political survivor. He'll need those instincts now more than ever.
Alan Fisher with the latest from Rome. Thank you.